Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message reads like this. Hello, my brother, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am a woman who is currently living here in Europe, but I am from Zim. So the story that I want to share with you, it is about how my daughter passed away. This was after we had traveled all the way going to Nigeria to visit this other famous prophet, but he has since passed away. When we had gone to visit that prophet, things did not work out very well. We then returned back to Zim. That was when we thought of trying another way, of trying our own traditional way. So my daughter then passed away. So I do not know if I am supposed to blame this prophet or if I am supposed to blame the traditional healer who assisted me after that. So me and my husband, we came here to the UK. This was like a very long time ago. My husband, he was working for this other company that was called PTC, and after he had gotten his retirement package, because he had seen that the situation that was now in our country, a lot of white people, they were starting to leave the country. And my husband, one day when we were sitting, he said that very soon Zim is going to be okay. It is not going to be okay. The situation, it is going to be very bad. At that time I could not understand what he was trying to tell me, because our dollar was much more stronger than any other currency in Africa. So no one could even understand when would say that Zim was going to be very bad economically. So my husband then said that now that there is still an opportunity, because with our passport back in those days, you could go wherever you wanted without a visa, because our economy was too powerful. There was no need for a Zimbabwean to go to another country. So my husband said, I have seen that the economy is going to be very bad. How about we try to migrate? So we migrated when things were still good in Zim. It was quite easy, and we were accepted in the country where me and my other kids are still staying even up until this day. So as for my kids, some of them I gave birth to them whilst living here in the United Kingdom. So it then happened that one of my daughter, my second born, she then started to have several dreams. She kept on telling us that whenever she would be having these dreams, she will be playing with these spirits from the river. Sometimes she will be swimming in the river with a certain type of fish. Sometimes my daughter will say that when she has these dreams, she will be swimming like in the river, and she'll be accompanied by the mermaids. And that was when I kept on speaking with my mother. So my mother then said that maybe we should return back home, because one of my auntie was also a traditional healer at that time. So she used to go to the river, and sometimes she will go into that river for 3 days, and when she would come back, she will be holding a basket that will be full of herbs in which she was using to cure people in the village. So my mother kept on saying that because of this history that is in the family, you need to return back home, you and your husband, so that you can know what is going on. So since we were now in the United Kingdom, as for my husband, he said that we have left Africa and there is no such thing as water spirits and ancestors. Look at this country in which we are. They don't even believe in their ancestors, yet they are blessed. But we Africans, we keep on believing in things that do not exist. That is why we are so backward in everything. So I then started to become sort of like an atheist, and I didn't believe that there was a God anyway. So what happened was that my daughter became so ill, and we could not even tell what type of an illness it was. Sometimes when we would go to the doctors, they would say that it was some sort of a cancer. But the next time around, when they would run several tests on my daughter, still the test will come out negative and showing that she was cancer free. So this was really confusing. Each and every passing day, my daughter kept on getting thinner and thinner, and then that was when we decided that instead of returning to Zim, let us go to this prophet, because at that time, me and my husband, we used to follow this other TV station, and this TV station, it was being run by that prophet who was from Nigeria. So we went to his church and we were booked at this hotel. It was really expensive, my brother. I do not want to lie to you. The money that we used just traveling from the United Kingdom going to Nigeria, and the amount that was needed for us to just see this prophet, we actually had to pay a lot of money, and we were staying at this other very expensive hotel. And then what they did was that they had these other small tour buses that would come and take us, because we were called tourists. So we were being taken from the hotel straight to the church. I never even got the chance to walk around like in town, because we were always being taken from point A to point B. If you were not at church, we were always in that hotel. There were people that were always monitoring you. They didn't want us to associate like with your local Nigerians, and the amount that we kept on paying, because there were a lot of things that we were told that they were needed. Some of these things that we were told that they were needed for our prayers, we were told that they were being bought from different states that were really far, and the amount, it was quite a lot of money. Me and my husband, we used a lot of money. I think it amounted to 20,000 pounds. Finally, the day arrived. We then went, and then we went into the prophet's office, and he started praying for my daughter. But as he was praying for my daughter, that was when he asked me and my husband to leave him, and we then left him. We left my daughter and the prophet for about an hour or so. I don't know what he did with my daughter, but my daughter, before this, she was a little bit okay, but when we collected her, my daughter was unable to speak. So looking at my daughter, seeing that she was unable to speak, and she seemed to be very tired, as if there was something that had happened to her. Anyway, we could not even ask her what was going on, because she was unable to speak. So since we were always kept in that hotel, there was no way that we could take my daughter to the hospital. We could not even feed her. My daughter, she was like really sick, and there was nothing that I could do. All that we could actually give her was water. Sometimes late at night, my daughter would struggle to breathe. Then I would tell those guys that, please just allow me to take my daughter to the hospital. But still, we were being told that we need to believe in the prophet. Otherwise, if we lose faith, then I was going to lose my daughter. So my husband, he believed so much in this prophet. But anyway, I convinced him. That was when we made an emergency, and we booked the flight, the next flight that was flying out of Nigeria, and we returned back to Europe. But the flight was from Nigeria coming to France, and from France we then reconnected coming to the United Kingdom. That was when my daughter was admitted for a very long time, and we were told that my daughter had an infection. But what surprised me was that when my daughter was now able to speak, we asked her how had she managed to get this certain type of an infection, because this was an STI. We asked her if she had been abused by the prophet in the office. But my daughter said no, he only prayed for me, and he was holding my stomach, because he said that that was where the cancer was breeding itself, in my stomach. But she said that the prophet never touched her. Anyway, that was inappropriate. But when she was at the hospital, the doctors said that she had an STI. So after my daughter had recovered, that was when me and my husband and my daughter came to Zim, since my mom kept on telling us that my daughter was being made sick by her ancestors. The only way that she was going to get cured, if we were going to respect the wishes of the ancestors, because they wanted her to become a traditional healer. Then when we returned back to Zim, That was when we were taken to that other traditional healer. Still, my daughter was really sick. So that traditional healer then said that she was going to work with this other woman who is a white garment prophetess. So this white garment prophetess came and she told us that there were some prayers that were supposed to be done on my daughter. So each and every night, my daughter, she had to be poured 3 full 20-liter buckets that were full of water. So each and every day, somewhere around 6 p.m., my daughter will be told to go and fetch some water. She was really sick, and we were told that no one was supposed to assist her. Sometimes she will fall down because she was not used to lift such a heavy weight, but she was told that she had to do this alone. She had to collect the water alone from the river. So my daughter would go to collect the river until she had 3 buckets. These 3 buckets, they will be placed in the middle of the compound until the next morning, somewhere around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. That is when that prophetess and the traditional healer would wake me, my husband, and my daughter up. Then we would go and kneel in front of those buckets. Then they will start to pour that cold water on my daughter. When she was almost half naked, all that they would give her was those African wrapping skirts. So I think that all of these things that happened to my daughter might have led to her death. After the rituals were done, that was when me and my husband and our daughter returned back to Europe. But my daughter, she had another infection, and this time around, that was when she passed away. And it still hurts me up until this day, and I do not know who am I supposed to blame. Should I blame the prophet? Should I blame the traditional healer who assisted me, or that prophetess from the white garment church? Even until this day, I do not even have the strength to speak to God because of the things that happened to my daughter. If there is a God, I feel as if he failed me. Each and every day, I keep on blaming myself that I should have remained as the person that I was, not believing in these ancestors or in this Christian God. I was okay. But the moment that I started to have this belief, that was when I lost my dear daughter. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister. Strange things do happen in this world.